This screencast will provide you with some information about integrated learning. Integrated learning is a Stage 2 subject that we run at Concordia College, and it's linked to the Kalahari experience, which means everything that you do with that project is linked to this course, which means that what you learn in your journey is enhanced because you get to reflect on it and develop it maybe a bit further than you would if you just went on the trip. It's a Stage 2 SACE unit, which means you get it graded from A+ to E-, and this gets converted to a mark that you can use for your ATAR. It's a very flexible course, and there are 4 elements in it that you need to be aware of. The first one's a practical, and we'll explain what that means in a moment, but as the name kind of hints, it is talking about the practical aspects that you can learn in the course. There's a group activity where you must work with some other people to reach an agreed outcome. There's a folio and discussion which follows your learning journey, and then there's a project which is a 30% external component. The practical side is really quite cool because what we do is we do one assignment that looks at your learning styles, how you learn best, and how that can be used in the classroom to make A, you learn better, but B, how you can use it to help the students that you'll be working with in the Kalahari. There's an assignment that looks at your teaching prep and the things that you need to do to be prepared to walk into the classroom. So that's a whole lot of things like communication, working in the peer tutoring program or the homework club, all those kind of things that are preparing you for your actual task when you go out into the valley. And the last one is teaching. This is the one that's worth the most weighting. This is all the work that you do when you're out there. So all the days that you're teaching, this contributes towards this practical aspect. It's actually quite a large bit because you're teaching full on for all the time that you're out in the valley, and this allows you to really demonstrate your learning, and you are able to improve on the skills that you've got, and that's the biggest assignment out of these 3. The next one is the group activity. Now, the group activity is based around fundraising, and in that you have to take on a key role, which means that you might organise a fundraiser at school or through another community kind of group that you're involved in, but you've got to have a key role in organising, and you've got to work with a few other people. At the end of it, you want to actually look at how well you worked as part of a team. If you were the leader, did you communicate clearly? If you were the leader, did you listen to other people's opinions, or did you just blindly go forward and do what you wanted to do? So it's really good for you to look at how you work with others and get feedback from them. So you get a feedback sheet from people, and then you reflect on A, how effective the fundraising was, B, how well you think you went as part of the team, and C, your reaction to the feedback and what things you do better the next time you do it. So that's one activity that you need to do. The folio discussion is quite a good part of the course because what it is basically it kind of details your learning journey. The folio is all the stuff that you do as you go through this whole journey. Everything from your application to the minutes, meeting minutes, and those kind of things that are sitting there that you use every week whenever you do go to the meetings. It's all there, it's all happening to you, but it's part of your journey that you're learning. You need to comment and reflect back on the actions that are taken in those meetings and what you've learnt, but it's all part of that journey. The other thing that we tend to do in this too is look at a whole lot of videos that are linked to South Africa that tell you about the history of the people we work with, why we're out there, what we're doing, and get you to research a little bit more into what the heck these people are doing so far away from everywhere else, and why we're going across there and helping them, and how that actually impacts on them and how that impacts on us. There's a big section here reflecting on your learning and on your journey, and a good thing to do is to value add to this program. So you might actually find something that you're interested in and you explore that a bit further, and that goes into this folio. So it might be something on the history of apartheid. It might be something about the actual valley that we're in, who's there and how did people get there. It might be some history of the people who are living with us. It might be talking to people while we're there and getting an insight to what life is like for them in South Africa, especially in rural South Africa where we're working. So it's all these things that you collect into a folio. So it's a large document. It needs to be ordered, and it needs to be fairly well set out so you can find information if needed, because when we have a discussion, that is actually drawing on your learning over your whole journey that you've been on this year, which means that we can ask questions. We'll ask you questions to expand on things about what you learnt, and that's where your folio comes into play. So if you looked at, say, the animals and the agriculture in the valley, we can ask you a question about that, and you need to back it up from your folio. So the two things go hand in hand. It's a discussion and a folio that are kind of blended together. The last part of the course is the project, and this is the 30% external component, and it's individual choice. So you can actually work out when you are going to submit this. When you are going to do this, sorry, not when you're going to submit it, but when you're going to do it, and what you're going to do it on. So you can grab any aspect of something that's triggered your thought process as you've been involved in this project. People have researched into water usage, transport, education standards, curriculum structures, the list goes on, but it's up to you to work out one thing that you'd like to research and follow up on. You have the option of how you present that. It could be in a video, it could be in a slideshow, or it may be in an essay, which some people choose because that's the easiest way to go. It's got to be related to the course, and it's got to be related to what you have learnt. So it's quite a nice thing, and that's a 30% external component, and that gets sent off to be marked by the SACE board. In terms of due dates, it's quite important that you manage your time. It's all self-driven. This course is driven by you. So you can do these assignments as quickly as you like and get feedback on them and improve them and then submit them. They're all available on the website, and you can just work through at whatever rate you want to. The final date for all the written work to be in is week 8 of term 3. So that's right towards the end of term 3. You need to have that all finished. The discussion happens in the first week of term 4. If we are running really well and everything is going to plan, we may even have the discussion in week 9 of term 3. That means the course is completely finished by the time you come back after the term 4 holidays. The whole thing is driven by you, and you're the one that kind of works out when you want to do things. My advice is to look at the tasks and do them as you are progressing through your learning journey, and really get the whole lot done and dusted by mid-term 3. Your folio is something that keeps on going, and most people like to have a folder where they can just put their information in it and they just build it up as they go that way. In terms of how it runs, all the information is on the website. You can just go to the website and you can follow it. And in that is all the assignments that are due, some hints and examples of other work, and a process where you can actually plan your learning in that, because there's a calendar in there as well. So I hope that explains to you a little bit more about how the course works and the aspects involved in it.